Salutations everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Sunless Sea. I'm your host, BrainBoy20, and when we had last left off, we had just returned from the Empire of Hands with our supplies in tow, and are going to receive our next direction from the Admiralty. No, actually, we already have gotten it. It was back to the Empire of Hands. Was it? What was the quest? What was the quest? I don't remember. It's our father's bones. Shelenate, which is near enough, and we're heading back to the Empire of Hands anyway, for we have our own little, explorer to speak to. But first things first, some time with our family can only do me well. To enjoy their company, get into the restful night, and lose the rest of my terror. We have to deliver our clayman because we've just finished our objective with the tireless mechanic. Giving me about 100 echoes for free. No reason to hire more crew, though. And then our lodgings just down south. We're not reconsidering Mr. Sachs, but we have an invitation to Bethnic College. Your travels have caught someone's attention. Bethnic College is pleased to invite you to an exclusive and educational evening with Lady Agatha Treadgold, delightful adventuress, and Rutkentus, of thrilling true tales of feist and spunk. On the back is a scribbled note. Come speak to me afterwards, darling. Opportunity beckons. Let's attend a lecture. Opportunities are always worth exploring, at least. Bethnic is the most open-minded of the London colleges. You find yourself waiting for the lecture in a queue of students, devils, and bohemians, observing with some scorn as passers-by in Somerset colours. Her feet have trodden lands most underneath have never even heard of. Her eyes have seen every opportunity for fame and glory while there. And meeting with the delightful adventuress, whoever she is, she knows how to pack a hall. Not a seat is empty as she takes the stage. The fine cuisine of Shelenate, the darling clayman, all but a prelude, my dears. Her stories tend towards the fanciful and conveniently unproofable, but the delightful adventuress has the credulous audience spellbound for hours. Many of her tales of monsters and lost cities have a common theme. She visited them ahead of a certain Lady Lenora Fortescue, the quite adorable darling archaeologist, with whom she sparked a bracing rivalry back at finishing school. The rest are tales, bitter as the sourest grapes, of being cheated of triumphs with the very same Fortescue, whose fanciful fictions are fit only for the penny dreadfuls. By the end, her stories are unnoticeably more bitter than boastful. She still receives a standing ovation. Monkey Business is now 14. Our business proposition, the delightful adventurous masked clayman Barnabas, escorts you to a principal of Bethnic's study, where she sits sipping brandy by the fire. Ah, my dear Capitiano. Firelight glints in her eyes as she raises the glass. I hear you were recently returning from the Empire of... Oh, monkeys? Hands, yes, of course. It is a rare breed that can make such a voyage. Foolhardy, too, perhaps. She sips her brandy. I wish to charter your no-doubt fine vessel to that primitive little island chain. There I shall find what I need to show up that little infernal in Lenora Fortescue once and for all. And you, delightful adventurous squints sizing you up, sufficiently compensation will not be a difficulty. A most mutually beneficial arrangement, you will see. And we'll accept. It's a long voyage, but I know the way. Splendid! The delightful adventuress drains her glass dry. Then we shall see upon the morrow of the voyage. Barnabas, pack my valise. Adventure awaits. I know of one delightful adventuress. And adventurous desire, we're not even close. Alarming scholar, we've picked up everything we possibly can, and I'm saving Z-stories. So I can freaking finally get the one thing I'm looking for. I would love to pick up an agent and actually succeed, but I highly doubt that I'll be able to pull that off successfully. My lodgings, there's nothing worth here, nor is there anything worth there. So let's pick up my supplies and get ready for the long, long journey. Naturally, 20 fuel, 17 supplies. I'm surprised we got so low on that. Supply-wise, I mean. Does she take up a slot here? Yes, she does. Yes, she definitely does. And excuse me for a moment. Just had to work that out of my system. And let us shove off one more time into the deep, dark sea. Our voyage's destination today is the Empire of Hands and the Shellan Age, plus anything else that happens to be along the way. Maybe we'll be able to successfully pull off the... what was it? Wow. Brain. It's in your bloody name. You're supposed to know this. Khan's Heart. The Intelligence Network. Yes, that's what it was. Don't mind me. I'm not as clever as you'd think. Who had veils? Yes, I can improve veils. And no thank you. I'm not going to try to boost. I'm not even going to attempt an affair with anyone else. We need another serpent trap before we can continue doing anything else. Improving our veils. How many secrets do I have? 11? Let's get our veils up a little bit. Mostly because I would like to decrease the ability that enemies can spot me with, but also complete the checks on Empire of Hands a bit more easily. Or at least I think it would be a bit more easily than what I'm currently doing. Anyway, that's enough about Sunless Sea. Let's talk a bit about my life. It's getting really annoying. Never mind, we're in combat. Meaning I don't feel like saying anything else right now. I feel like just hunting this steam pinnace to try to tear it down before they have a chance to stop me. Loot and scuttle. I'll get a bolt of fabric to get a bale of parabola linen. Parabola is a certain place behind mirrors. Someone made that up. But in that case, where do they weave this sleek and ambery glimmering cloth? Okay then, you've definitely piqued my interest. I definitely need to find parabola at some point, though. At least in my own journeys. It'd be to my benefit to do so. So many bloody projects, both at school, work, and then for the channel itself. I really should at least, get to work on completing one of them. Although I'm quite happy with the start of Darkest Dungeon as one of the new series. I really would have loved to finish that game, but there was also a toss-up between Darkest Dungeon and Black and White 2, the God game, for anyone who's unaware of what that is. It was one of those games that I've played in my youth but never really finished, mostly because my tiny, tiny mind, when I was a lot younger, could not understand how to play the game effectively, except by literally sitting there and turtling for all eternity. So, Demona's Isle, what do you have for me today? Tea with the Factor, or exploring the island? I think we'll explore the isle this time around. Rat Corsairs. The gully, the ambusher's favorite terrain feature. It looked like such a short and easy way, but now a sudden flood of black and white fur confronts you, a starving torrent of Ratus Faber Corsairs. The chief addresses you with a piping, unhuman voice. Easy there, me giants. We're in dire need here. Lend us help and we'll pay well for it. No need to fight. But you notice his rat hand is on the hilt of his rat cutlass. Give them what they want. If I had the wretched Mog, it'd be fine. Nice. Or we could refuse the trade. They're only rats, but there are a lot of rats. And they have what looks like a rattling gun. And they'll exchange drowning pearls for supplies to repair and restock. Wretched Mog has been riding on the gate-toothed gunner's shoulder. Now it asks its back and hisses like a hatful of scalding serpents. Or you could refuse the trade. You'll need your supplies, and they're vermin. But rat bites fester. You might lose crew. I will give them what you want. A wary exchange. You're not bad for a door filler. Not bad at all. A pleasure doing business. Should you ever find yourself beneath the floorboards of Khan's glory, look me up. Calm seas. Using 3 supplies for 5 drowning pearls. Nothing else for me here except a port report. Can I even hold the drowning pearls, or are those one of those things that can actually fit independent of anything else? They are. Fair enough, fair enough. I think we could still make it on 13 supplies. If not, I can always purchase some somewhere else. Well, another Z story, I can mess around with the Fathom King, but I don't feel like doing so. Or at least I don't feel like it'd be a good idea, considering what happened last time. What else do I need from the Fathom King again? Be under journal. It'll be the Fathom King's request. Currently. Fathom King, my father's bones, fruit from the eternal tree from the Fathom King. At eldest end for the Fathom King. A willing guest for the Fathom King, officer to the Fathom King, choose someone who has finished their business on the Z and might be willing to stay in the King's court, probably someone who likes fish. Skylight for the Fathom King, miracle of science, legend's heart for the Fathom King. I absolutely despise how long that's going to be. Like, I've already used up one of my first officers. And I'm still trying to acquire one of the other two gentlemen, the irrepressible cannoneer, the tireless mechanic, and those are going to take forever as well. I'm actually thinking of putting Sunless Sea on hold for a while, in all honesty. While the series is nice and all, it's also gone on for quite a while, and there's just not a lot of things have changed. Like, I do all these micro adjustments and all this, and really use this as a testing bed for a bit of the new hardware, like the microphone. I feel like it's run its course for a bit, and maybe after this I might flat out retire the game entirely. Although I definitely do like it playing it. Music's always nice, and the little journeys allow me to clear my head and plan out things in the future. We're almost at Khan's Glory. We'll be on our way to the Salt Lions afterwards, but I really do need to drop off the Diplomat first. My hands definitely do not appreciate what happens at work. Them being covered in sanitizer so often. Just a lot of itching. Anyway, hopefully we can actually succeed at this intelligence network, because I'm really curious to see what would happen if it does. Maybe we'll be able to effectively garner port reports from this point onward. Although odds are that's not going to happen, and that looks like it's a dead end. They all look like dead ends. Well, there's at least somewhere around. Nephrite Quarter. Okay, good, that didn't count as a hit. I'm actually glad for that. Anyway, Khanate, what do you have for me? I'm actually curious, how is the Khanate built? Are these all on top of mountains? Because it certainly seems like that'd be the case. Or do they just all build these floating structures? Although that definitely doesn't seem good. At least when dealing with this endless black sea. Anyway, no commercial license will be garnered here. We're not going to wander Khan's Heart for any reason, nor are we going to attempt a port report just yet. But we're going to attempt to establish a spy network. 100 echoes. Let's see if it succeeds. You hurt me. We'll wander Khan's Heart. A narrow street opens on your left. The filament bulbs here are green tinted, and the street is unusually dim. Like a space between a thick forest canopy, 10 steps in, and the noise of the crowds on the canal's side is oddly hushed. A candlelit shop. A quiet street washed with serpent green light from bulbs overhead. The houses here are dark, empty seeming. Paint peels and bats chitter. A single shop, however, is open. Its windows glow with candlelight. The shopkeeper is a tall woman with pale eyes. Not a local, but not a Londoner either. She blows the dust off a beige box and smiles toothfully at you. Purchase a pot of violent ink. Good for diaries, if you have something to confess. Purchase a watch for curio. Keep them with their faces turned to the wall. You never know, eh? Purchase a drowning pearl. Timing like these. Yes, they do. Have you ever wondered why? No? Good for you, my lord. Good for you. Purchase a strange catch. Pickled. We shall all be pickled one day, I have no doubt. Preserved in some desperate museum. Excuse me, the light here confuses the mind. Purchase a smooth and copper long box. This great thing? It's been cluttering up my shop for too long. Please take it off my hands. I mean to say, oh, I suppose I can part with it for the usual price. Purchase a brass-backed mirror. I wonder if that would actually be possible. I think a pot of violent ink would be useful. Let's go take it up. The pot is tightly sealed. The glass is cool to the touch. When you grasp it, soft light spills between your fingers. Your skin tingles as if from too much sun. A pot of violent ink. Violent, the color of necessary but troublesome connections. According to other traditions, the color of blood shed in a spired place. It's very hard to forget anything you've written in violent ink. Can I actually, use that? Make use of it? No? Disappointing. Nothing more for me here, just a lot of angry individuals. So let's get a move on. We have an objective to reach, and that objective is Khan's Shadow, and then the Empire of Hands, so we can continue that tale. Although it's nice to start off with the violent ink. Does it actually eat up my hold in any way, shape, or form? No. Good. It's under curiosities. So that's 1 out of the 7. I think I need 6 more. I think I do. Well, where to get them, I have no clue. I've got a massive headache. Although I guess my sleeping schedule does kind of suck horribly. Now, I did host a poll a while back where I promised I would try to set up either a Patreon or donations system that people could access if they ever desired, for whatever reason. And hopefully that should be up this weekend, and I'm actually going to try to put up some reasonable benefits and goals, like, I don't know, give me a little bit of incentive to, sell off the mirror catch box full of very angry dream snakes. I could buy an empty mirror catch box, but there's no reason to do so. Anyway, as I was saying, I was really going to set up some goals, such as guarantee a video every single day at least, and not skip a single thing. Mostly because, although I feel as if that might be a little too scummy. I don't want to be. There's a certain amount of scum that any system like that pretty much is going to have, but I feel as if that might be a little too scummy as a type of thing. But I also feel like if I have incentive of some kind, I always have something on time, instead of whenever I can or whenever I feel like it. Says the man who always feels like it, and we're in Polythereme. Oh, do I want to be in Polythereme yet? No, I actually want to go back through Polythereme afterwards to pick up the Clayman later. I want to actually be in the Chelenate. So we'll probably end the video there, but as I was saying, I feel as if having anything involving my work itself being affected by this is a bit scummy, but then again I also want to have reasonable rewards that would have a tangible benefit that people could see. I don't know, it's a really weird toss-up trying to think of things for Patreon. And we're going to avoid the Fathom King's hold. Not for need or anything like that, but more because I don't feel like dealing with the Fathom King as of right now. I wonder, are there drowny ships? I have no clue. And oh gosh, when you see that little lit up piece of algae and coral, even in Sunless Sea, it just looks wrong to look at. It fits the aesthetic all too well. This is actually supposed to be a fairly creepy place, but still. I'm surprised we're only at 11 supplies. Oh well. The Promised Sea. All through this place, the song of the Drownies lies shivering sweet along the wind. So the Chelenate really all these hunters, or does this just happen to be a graveyard? I mean, they speak as if they are hunters, most of the random events are as if they're hunters, but in Sunless Sea, can you really ever be certain of anything? Can you be certain of where your loyalties lie? That's a really good question, in my opinion. But oh well, we'll answer all that later. To a Shovelport. We're not going to shore leave at the Chelenate or acquire a Doomed Monster trophy, but we do have to meet a contact and acquire a hunting trophy. You anger me. Mutilated hunter makes her home in a plasteron at the wretched end of the shell. Well, the more wretched end. Her face is half immobile from a jellyfish sting. Give her a hunting trophy and she'll share Z gossip. Compile a port report. And tails for the bone. Someone is crying unusual wares. Follow the sound. And bring him a hunting trophy. Can I buy a hunting trophy? Of course not. Why would I be able to buy a hunting trophy? I have no clue. Well, I guess we have to leave the Shellinate. Thanks for absolutely jack all and leaving me with one of those quests that are incredibly difficult to get rid of. What the heck is the Gant Pole? Is there anything else here? At least anything I can actually access. Oh, there are definitely no islands within range, and oh dear god, this thing is humongous. I understand that's its ribcage. Where's its face? I almost don't feel like asking that question. I'm just gonna keep a move on. And hope. Hope and dream. Or let's hope I don't encounter something that huge. Alright, we're almost at the Empire of Hands, which is where will be the actual ending of this. But this is Terry Point. Or Tory Point. Nice, it gets revealed on my map. The undersea is restless. Well, that's not a humongous issue to me, and we actually found the other edge of the map. I wonder what would happen if we tried going off that edge. Would we crash into something, like an invisible wall, or would we die? I almost don't feel like knowing. I think knowing would be a very, very bad thing indeed. And there's their lovely, lovely Zeppelin. That actually leads to a very good question. If we take the Zeppelin, or if we steal it for some reason or means, how exactly do we get our ship back? The delightful welcome. The delightful adventuress leans over the rail of the ship, sniffing the humid air with evident distaste. What a filthy, damp little place. Oh well, we shall endure. At the sight of the mare hobbling up, she straightens. A thin, insincere smile spreads across her face. Ah, you there, my good primitive, she calls, striding down to the ramp and clasping his arm tight. Now then, I come in search of your first Emperor's vault. After that I shall be needing a few things. Some of your finest workers and tools and some food. Do you understand me? She shakes her head, barely waiting for a response. F-O-O-D, she repeats. Comprenas? Oh dear, I see. We shall be here for a while. Listen, I hear you fellows rather like souls. Shall we discuss that like higher primates? Payment for the journey. Barnabas stays to settle up while her mistress negotiates the value of her soul with the mare. A man with no face. Barnabas removes his mask, in what looks to be a silent moment of great relief. Underneath is nothing. Just a flat surface where his face should have been. Ah, an unfinished clay man. One of those flawed products of polytherine that follows their own rules. If only you'd known that before he bought it. Of course, that's why the adventuress never mentioned it. He silently presents you with your agreed fee, dips his head in a polite bow, and lumbers back to his mistress. It appears she has struck a deal with the mare. The delightful adventuress will establish a base camp on Fountainhead Island. She welcomes your assistance as the one who has proven to not be entirely useless. And 200 echoes. Port Stanton. Shore leave? That can only go well. No thanks. Port report here. And the Zeppelin... I need more than 29. I thought it was 19. I have no idea why I thought that. Sailing the Empire of Hands. No, not to Southern Isle, but to Hearthsig Village. Cannibals always had a seat at their table, and the lost treasure hunter has much to trade. A raid on the Empire of Hands. That's like a bad idea waiting to happen. The lost treasure hunter. He joined the pirates to see the Z. Now he just hopes that one day sees something he recognizes. Adventuring supplies. You came well prepared for this journey, unless your idea of preparations happens to include a compass, a map not written in riddles, a sextant, and a spare set of spectacles to compensate for severe myopia. His adventures have left him with many tools for finding golden glory. A sense of direction is not one of them. We could trade supplies for foxfire candles. Don't tell the others, but I still can't bring myself to eat like they do. I pretend, but it's a good thing there's berries. Wouldn't say no to something a bit more. Trade recent news for dynamite. You have a newspaper? At least I won't feel entirely lost when I finally get back home. Trade stories for the lost treasure hunter. 10 tales of terror for 10 Z stories. And persuade him to give you his map. The searing enigma. And I need delightful archaeology 50. Oh, feel free to take some sticks of dynamite. The lost treasure hunter scans the latest headlines. Fascinating by those. And should be most absorbent, if need must. Nothing else I'm interested in here. Return to the boat. We're not going to eat anything, because that seems like it'd be a poor idea indeed. Fountainhead Island. Now, Ash Isthmus. The monkey foundling's hut. She does not seem to be here right now. A pair of Pentecost apes are, though, glaring at you with equal parts malice and their usual avarice. Chased away, the 2 Pentecost apes attack, snarling and hissing. Their raw ferocity forces a retreat, though they do not follow and press the advantage. Once you are through the trees, the chase ends. Peering through the foliage, you see them quietly return to their strange vigil. Now you look carefully, you can see the traps hidden in the forest. All things considered, it is for the best the ghost of Ash Isthmus saw you as a playmate instead of an invader. There are reasons both humans and the smarter apes leave her to her own devices. Okay, I guess we'll finally go to Fountainhead Island. Visit the delightful adventuress's camp. With a small army of monkeys bought with her soul, she excavates the vault of the first emperor. The foliage is thick and unforgiving. The delightful adventuress, helped by her faceless clayman bodyguard Barnabas and a small group of worker monkeys hired for the price of her soul, works to excavate the vault of the first emperor. A gift for the little monkey emperor. The delightful adventuress has already uncovered and put aside many treasures. A small statue amongst them looks particularly interesting. Speak with the delightful adventuress as she prepares to make her run on the vault. To the vault of the first emperor, its stone entrance dominates a small clearing, and we can leave the camp if we choose. Nobody is watching. At least you don't think so. It's hard to tell with Barnabas's blank face giving nothing away. Can he see? He seems to be able to. Somehow. In any event, he makes no move to raise an alarm as you take the small trinket. Now let's speak with her. Oh, it's you. Of course. Help me with these blasted maps, will you? The monkeys are quite clueless. She shakes her head. They claim our souls. Uplift them. But if you ask me, it's just a case of monkey see, monkey do. Can you believe that they think that the Zeppelin of theirs will let them create a new empire? Wait, you there. Take that out of your mouth this very second. Let's visit the vault of the first emperor. It may look centuries old, but the entryway is relatively new. The monkeys can never leave anything alone, always adding bits on as their whims demand. Outside the vault, this tribute to the Emperor's finest and greatest has been constructed over generations by monkeys working with stolen ideas of what an ancient tube should be. The delightful adventuress flits back and forth between her base camp and the vault entrance. And there are other parts of the Empire of Hands to explore, but let's take a look. To rush, darling, is to court tragedy. The delightful adventuress pays barely any attention to you as she progresses. Or she prepares. She's not yet ready to open the vault. You should return later when she has had a chance to organize some monkey workers. This may take a while. I need the ancient-ish map. Disappointing. I'm going to check again to see if anything's changed. Nope, not at all. Let us take a brief check. And let's go to Sovereign Isle. Nah, we'll visit that next time. On Let's Play Sunless Sea. I have been your host, BrainBoy20, and I'm signing off. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, comment, or subscribe, for it helps out a great deal, and I hope to see you all next time. Farewell.